MRC Tier 1 Round 8 coming at you live from Spain. Qualify's already started, but you haven't missed much. We're just live on board with Nick BT for the first flying lap as he goes very wide over the sausage curbs. What I'll do is I will pick on another driver so we can go through a full lap of this race, and then I will introduce my co-host for the night, Mr. JK and Matthew, but we will stick on board with Kid Dynamite, who's going round these last two right-handers, and we'll take you on a lap of the wonderful Spanish circuit. So here we go, herring down to the first corner. This is very recognisable. You're looking for a little strip of grey tarmac on the left here, in between the 100 and the 50. And you hook it into that right, left, and then into turn 3. You just put it in there, and it's all about holding the car in. On these softs, the car will just grip, grip, grip. And then you're in turn 4 and 5. This one, you can lose a lot of speed if you don't take the right line through here. But Kid seems to have got the perfect line through there. Then brake at about 50. Get in once more, get it lined up on the apex. Then into the section where I always used to lose it, around F122. The car was very skittish, but it seems a lot more planted here. And then we've got this very fast right-hander into a DRS zone, which as you can see, Kid is flat out through there, in 6th and up into 7th. Now into the parts of the track that have been revamped a little bit. This sector 3, so different than it was from 2 or 3 years ago. Now we've got this very deep, sweeping hairpin there, which you can lose a lot of times if you're not careful. Take the right line, and then here it is. No more pain, no more chicane, just two right-handers. It is so important to get a good exit out of here because you will need it not only for a good lap time, but also to make sure that you can catch somebody across the line and to the first corner of the lap. And Kid Dynamite goes with a 1:11.748. Excellent lap. So again, if we're live, I guess we'll introduce you again and we'll have a little chat. What do you think about Spain and the circuit? How do you find it?
What do I think about it? I think it's not a bad track. It's a fun track to do. Of course, especially in Sector 3, that new chicane bit, it's very much different now.
Yeah.
It's like a spasm for me to go after that little straight, to just turn it. When I see the next road, I just turn it. But I have to get rid of that, just drive a little bit more faster. That is still a thing. I think for some people that was a little bit hard as well, or they have that mind to switch it, but not for me.
Fingers crossed we don't see anybody
get. Thing?
Well, no, yeah, it's the same. Like, I think I used to, as a matter of habit, kind of like want to break out of the last corner, and yeah, because that's what my muscle memory was doing. But it only took me a couple of laps of practice to get used to that, and then it's excuse me, those two right-handers are. You got to really have belief in your car; they will just grip and hold on. Because you can lose an awful lot of time if you are tentative through there, and particularly in the wet conditions that we experienced in Tier 2 earlier. That's where a lot of people, if you don't get a good exit down there, you're an absolute sitting duck coming down the straight and into T1.
No, that is true. Usually, if you try to turn in earlier and go for a problem, you're going to miss it, or you're lucky, or you lift up a little bit and then do it again, but you never know what the car behind you will do.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you can have it planted, like on the rails, just fly past you, or you're a lucky man and you're safe.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of overtaking moves I saw down into turn 1, which is always the biggest action zone around here. I think that is the one big overtaking opportunity you have. The other DRS section that we'll see Ghost Rider, who are on board now, he'll come up to it in a little bit. That short stretch as it is, I don't think it's long enough to get any serious moves down there, but the bravest of the brave will go side by side into that other revamped section of Sector 3.
It's all about commitment at some points. It really is. If you're not committed into a move, then either way you're gonna crash out, or you're just gonna back out and you'll still be stuck there and the car behind you will just take it.
I agree, totally, 100%, because you've got to... It's the half-hearted moves that cause the most accidents, isn't it? It's the one where you go all yes and no, and that's when you clip a rear wheel and you ruin your race and the guy in front of you. So, yeah, if you're going to go, do it. Let's see what time Ghost Rider is across the line. That's P7, excellent lap there.
That is a very good lap from Ghost Rider.
So usually,
man to watch out for.
He's usually Tier 3, isn't he, Ghost Rider?
He's a Tier 3 driver. Well, we should watch him on Wednesday.
Yeah, I know. He's putting the Tier 1 drivers to shame at the moment with a very competitive.
He's putting everyone below him to shame at that point. Man, good lap.
Let's see.
Surprisingly. Not surprising. I'm not saying you're bad. Just saying it is actually a big step up for a Tier 3 driver who's been in the top 10 at the moment.
Yeah, no, there is an awful lot that he can improve. It was very fun actually racing against him around Monaco last week. He's got a lot of pace and it always brings a very good car, a competitive car with us. Let's see who we've got. I'm going to go on board with, is that Joni? Is he on a fast lap now? Fingers crossed. He, of course, is our Tier 1 championship leader. His laps are always alien fast, so we'll see if he goes across Sector 1. If he's up on his time, he's up by 0.001, so only third for him so far, so this might not be a favourite track. Have you got any drivers in Tier 1 that you look out for? I think you said this was the first time that you commentated Tier 1 this season.
Yeah, it's the first time I actually commentated on, but in my opinion, of the recent drivers I've seen in X and the drivers I had a chance to watch in Tier 1, for me it's Joni that is actually a quick man. Crazy, of course, also quick and all that, and Chris Bailey, he always talks about how he's quick, where he's beefing an asshole. Then you have, I think it was, Kid Dynamite. He's also a driver to watch out for. He has his moments, of course, he can be rapidly quick. It's like, oof, that's way too quick for a driver. He can also be rapidly, That's all the information. Like you're going to hear now, he's putting in P1.
Yeah, that is an excellent lap from him. It's not usually he likes to stamp his authority and he's about half a second ahead of the rest of the field, but no, he's just 0.2 seconds, so there is a lot for other drivers to aim for there. We've got Kid Dynamite out lap as well. As you say, Chris Bailey, average in 4th place, Xavier in 5th, J Sarge as well, another guy to look out for, a lot of trophies next to his name in the Discord, looking very competitive in P6. As you mentioned earlier, he's had a bit of a rough season so far, doesn't seem to be able to keep out of the incidents, but if he keeps it clean, then yeah, he's formidable on track. I think he'll just want some clean air.
I think, does he not have the most championship wins in his name? Or is that someone else?
Xavier might have an absolute load of them as well, because he racks up the MRCX ones. So he's very competitive, but there was a period in MRC where we had J Sarge dominance, where he was just absolutely unassailable. I can't remember if it was F1 21, I think. 22 he kind of struggled, and we're in a whole new era now with F1 23. I feel like we've got time for the games just to bed in a little bit now. How are you finding that, like, the physics model and the game as a whole? Are you preferring it compared to last year's game?
To be honest, it was a bit of a change. The handling was a bit different in this game and in the last. I do find this game a little quite more better, especially I think for users, because I started this season with no traction control ever. Only thing I'm using is ABS, and that's it. And for going to medium to no traction, I think that's actually not a big difference on it.
It's not on this game, because I've done the same, or at least I'm running exactly the same assists as you are. Kid Dynamite there going on top with a 1:11.4. Excellent lap from the Red Bull man there.
Yeah.
Really taking it through, and I know he's very competitive in the championship as well. He was leading when we went into Monaco. He was leading by a point. He only won that, or didn't win that race, but finished far up. And Kid didn't finish. He had a crash with Xavier, so he'll be hoping to get the points back tonight. But yeah, no, going back to that point, I would say that it's very forgiving on traction. It's more drivable. I feel that if I lose the car on this game, it's my fault. It's not the game suddenly deciding that I've lost traction.
No, it's the same thing with me. If I lose traction, especially in which way was that again? I think it was Australia when I was P2 in Tier 3, and I was like, oh my god, I'm going to take him here. And suddenly in the second corner, my rear just snapped and I was gone.
Yeah.
It was a heartbreaking moment. I came into tears as well.
Those are the ones where it's always when you know you could have got it, you know you could have had it.
Yeah,
as well.
You know you could have got it, and you know it's your own fault, and you can't blame someone else for it as well. That's just heartbreak. That's the first actual heartbreak I had for this league.
But fingers crossed, nobody will repeating that sort of heartbreak tonight.
No.
I was just on board with Mark, who is back racing with us tonight. Big shout out to him. He's got an injured ankle at the moment. He was telling us how, and he was racing on Friday, I think. It was swelling up to the size of a very large grapefruit or a small melon. Fingers crossed it behaves itself tonight and you're able to make it all the way for the 33 laps Just looking in the YouTube comments as well, we've got David Wright, who's the new reserve for Tier 4, Tier 3. Lovely to have you with us, David. Fingers crossed you can see the elite drivers, our Tier 1 boys, put on a bit of a show tonight. Andy Hunt says hi, and we've got the BRD Calvin fan club of Jamie Biffnell.
Oh.
All it's one member, so yeah.
Well, see, the fan club is doing very good. We're now in P10, so it's a good fan club, top 10.
Yeah, come on, like it, spread it around, spam the YouTube chat, just keep it going.
Go on. Are there any more fan clubs in here, or is it just the BRD Calvin club?
Just the BRD Calvin club at the moment. Reese, I was on board with him for a fast lap. He's gone to go in the pit lane and he's hit that bump and he's missed it. So now he's trying a 12-point turn to get back into the pits. There he goes. Sorry to catch that embarrassing moment on camera, Reese, but there it is.
Yeah, I did that in career mode, so don't worry about it, mate.
That bump is treacherous, isn't it? It does catch you out.
It is a very treacherous. If you take it with a very, very high speed, you are definitely out. I tried it.
Yeah, and if you go too far right as well, what I found was that it was easy to invalidate your lap. The game does seem to have a glitch. Chris Bailey on board with Mark. Sorry, not Mark, it was Ant, who is giving his teammate the tow down the straight. He's going for a fast lap. I think it will be his last one. He won't have a time for another. So let's see how much that benefited him as we go through Sector 1. He is up by 0.13, so a little bit, but yeah, you're right, I did go a bit.
It was a little bit shameful like it goes wide. You just went a little bit wide in the Sector 3 bit on the first wide-hander in the last two corners. Destroyed a board. Don't know which board it was, but I think it was the 50-meter board or the 100 board. I don't even sure that.
I found I was doing that accidentally in career mode as well. Chris Bailey seems to have, he's going very slow, so whatever happened on that first lap, he wasn't quite happy with it, so I think he will go again. We've got an abandoned...
in the wall.
Yeah, there is. Who is that? Is that Slayer?
I think it is.
Yes, he's just retired from the Slayer.
It is the Slayer, it seems. And that is unfortunate.
Very unfortunate indeed. So I'm going to stick on board with Chris Bailey. We've got 3 minutes of this session left to go, and this will probably be his last chance for a lap. No time to go into the pits, put a fresh pair of softs on. So he's the first of our top 4 runners to go again, and unfortunately was in the gravel and he's been disqualified. He was P20 already and didn't have a time on the board, so it won't affect him that much, but that is a shame to see him go out of the session in that way.
You can always do from 20 to a first challenge. It's never a shame in doing that. A lot of people do that.
He usually does. He usually decides to qualify on a pair of inters and do the challenge every single time. But now he'll have to do it for real with nobody else. There's a Haas in the way there. Very sensibly gets off the racing line. Spanish will be wanting to improve on his time. There's 0.3, 0.4 seconds really if he wants to challenge Kidd at the top. I found it's very hard to get 2 quali laps in a row round here. It's not one of those circuits where the ERS recharges very well. Look at that, his ERS is already down to 11%. He's up 0.1, so that might be enough maybe to get him ahead of Reese. Or maybe he just wants a cushion to those cars behind. See how he goes through this last sector, through that double right-hander. It's going to be across the line with a 1:11.64, so enough to improve his time, not enough to go up any places. He stays in 4th position. Still on board.
It's better than nothing. Still top 10, still top 5.
It is. I'd love a top 10 at any point, any quali on the circuit.
I love a top 15.
We're all different. That's a difference, isn't it, between us mere mortals are like tier 2, tier 3, tier whatever drivers. It's just, I'll settle for like a point. These tier 1 boys, they all want to go out and win it. They've definitely got the competitive
They want everything out of the car.
Do you know what I mean?
This is the time you need to push to get the most out of it. Nick BT, lost it out of the last corner.
Yes, I wonder if we're just on board with Jenny. I wonder if we're going to see that. Yeah, he seems to have maybe gone into the pit wall, or maybe was trying to go back into the pits. To caught him out. It was very easy to do that. Journey's on another fast lap. Reese Whitcomb is also on his outlap, and we've got Kid Dynamite. Is he going to get across the line in time? He's got 45 seconds So we've got our top three all going for it now. So let's stay on board with the Ferrari man and we'll see the times as they come across the line. J Sarge decided that he's had enough as well and he is going to stay in the pit. So he'll be hoping nobody below him can go any quicker. Let's see where everybody is. Look at the spread of those times as well. All from, it's about a second covering the field all the way from P1 down to P11, which is pretty good round here.
It's amazing to see.
Yeah.
You don't normally see that. I don't see that in other tests now.
No, sometimes there's like a huge gulf, isn't there? Or somebody is like a second or, you know, a whole...
Yeah, someone will be probably a half a second quicker than others.
Yeah. It's not the case tonight. Staying on board with you, Joni, then, as he goes into the last two right-handers. Been so good all season. Is it going to be yet another pole for the Ferrari man? As across the line with a 11.7. No, he hasn't gone quicker. So let's stay on board with Reese. Reese has bailed out, or he's had a moment coming out of there, so he won't be going any quicker.
As well. Call me the Brayfoot's out as well.
People are pushing, aren't they? Right to the end and just getting it a little bit wrong. Kid Dynamite is up on his time, but barely 0.007 as we go into the last sector 3. Oh, he gets a little bit twitchy out there, and that isn't an invalidation, but I think it might have cost him some time, and yet he's going back into the pits. So everybody who was staying on board with hasn't really been able to put a lap together, and I think, that is it. G-Star is on a lap, but he was about 7 seconds down, so no, he'll be heading back to the pits.
He's not doing anything quick as well, so I think it's your good, ladies and gentlemen. If you look at that.
I'll just keep it going here. Speedy Bullet in the YouTube chat says, hello everyone, hello Speedy Bullet, thank you for joining us tonight. Mandy is spamming it, please do. Just I saw a stream the other day that told you how to best maximise your YouTube watch videos on live. So if you're watching this on a laptop, people, just copy and paste that tab. Open another tab, put it in. The view count will go up and up and up. And we'll absolutely exploit the algorithm and get this to be the most watched live YouTube video. If your CPU explodes, I take no responsibility. Right, as G-Star goes across the line, and so he saves us all from my nonsense, let's quickly take you through the grid that is going to start here in Tier 1. So we have got Kid Dynamite a pole in the Red Bull with an excellent 1:11.4. Then it's Joni in the Ferrari lines up next to him on P2. Then it's Reese in the Alpine, Chris in the Mercedes in 4th, J Sarge in 5th, Xavier 6th, LRL 7th, G-Star 8th, Single Track 9th, Kaiser Soze 10th, and then the fan club can cheer because BRD Calvin is in P11. Mark is in a very respectable P12, Eddie Just P13, Call Me the Brave 14, Nick BT down in 15th, Ghost Rider P16, Bit in 17th, Era Voice 18th, The Slayer in 19th. Unfortunately, Ant got disqualified. He said that he got to a curb going into the pits and it sent him into the gravel, driving backwards. And when he stopped to let his teammate through, the game DSQ'd him. So fingers crossed, nobody will be suffering that face in the race proper. Who do you fancy after that qualifying session? Who do you think is the one to look out for?
Well, you say the obvious question would probably be Kid Dynamite. But my question, I think I would go with Reese.
Good shout. He's looked very strong, hasn't he? Yeah, no, I think Reese is always one. Joni is interesting. I'm used to him being sort of like 0.2, 0.3 seconds faster than the rest of the field, and he sort of goes up the road. I don't think he's going to do that tonight. I think we're going to see how well he can wheel-to-wheel race. So keep an eye out for him. It might be very spicy between him and Kid Dynamite. And I can never write. I've always got a big soft spot for Xavier as well. He's starting about P5, P6, where he likes to be. He's at the front. He's in the action. He's one that consistently can take this to the end. It looks like it's going to be a dry session, so we'll see a mix of strategies. Let's just...
What will we see?
Yeah. Just get the tiles up.
That's very different.
Oh, we've got a big mixture, haven't we? Kid on the mediums, Joni on the hards, and then mediums, J Sarge on the softs, as well as LRL and G-Star Single Track starting on the hards, and Kaiser on the softs. What strategy would you have gone for? Because obviously we had a wet race earlier, so kind of just wets or inters whenever you fancied
so
it.
that in there, your strategy was thrown out the window at that point. When you saw that, when people saw that. And I guess if I have to choose a time, the strategy I actually would have gone for to try out at least is actually go from hards, starting on the hards.
Oh, why is that? Because the hards, they can go around about, what, 19, 20, 23 laps around here, would you say?
I tested it at a Grand Prix, and I stuck with them with 22 laps, and that put me at the end, what was it again? P7 at the end of that Grand Prix. And I didn't feel bad at all, but around lap like 17, 18, it started, you were driving like on ice. And it was not fun. You had to be really, really careful, really concentrated at that point. But if you are a calm driver and you have no one in your ear blabbing, not saying everyone is a blabber, Gav. But
I find it hard to believe that Gav would talk.
If you can and you are a normal driver, you can actually are a tyre whisperer at some point, but you never showed it. People can always show it.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. We'll see how long these drivers at the front can stretch those mediums and hards. And let's see if J Sarge does a little charge at the start. I wonder, he won't want to get stuck behind these top four, so he's going to have to make some moves and shake it up.
Push.
Yeah. Let's see. Last few cars lining up the back of the grid, and is going to be the last one to get in place, and then we will go racing. Let's just hide the UI here. See if we can get those 5 lights showing. There we go. Terrible camera angle, so I can't see the lights, so we're just going to have to wait and see when they're going to go. Hold, and there we go, and they're off. Good start from Kid and from Ujoni as we head down into the first corner. Who's going to come out on top? They're going side by side, are they? And I think it's going to be Kid. Give me a better camera angle, please. Yeah, Kid's got a really big lead to first, and Ujoni actually succeeds the place to Reese Wickham, who's up into second. Ujoni, those hards not firing up quite as well. Chris is in fourth, Sabre in fifth. J Sarge, who said he needed to make places up soon, he's actually dropped one place down into P6.
Ooh, there's a Red Bull going wide. He's on the gravel.
That's single track. He's on the hards. That's a shame for him.
I do got to say, speaking about starts, Nick BT had one of the greatest starts I ever saw in the things I've actually seen. That man just flew up in 4 places like it was nothing.
That's amazing. Up in
like 2 corners.
Yeah, up in P11. Let's see if I can get the position change.
Nearly touch each other. That's already 1 knot.
There they are. Your teammates. Remember that, guys. You've got a long way to go here.
Don't forget your first rule. Don't crash into your teammate.
Yeah, correct. I think Calvin's on the mediums and his teammate behind him is on the soft, so maybe that's why Kaiser is so desperate to get through. Carl in the YouTube chat, B17, as some of you might know him, Call Me the Brave is out, and that is going to be a safety car.
It's in the last corner.
Yeah,
that must have hurt.
It's odd place to go. So just as the field settles down, I don't think we'll see many people go for the early pit stop unless some of those soft runners want to get off that tyre as quickly as possible. So our big winners at the start there, Reese and Bailey up a place each, Joni down 2, LRL up 1, Saviour down 1. He wasn't up in P5, but clearly he's been having some side-by-side action and has himself down in P7. Calvin up 2, Nick BT up 4. And then the big loser, I'm afraid, is Single Track, who went wide and found himself taking an early bath in the gravel. Found himself down in P19.
Looks like we've got a Kaiser Soze fan club in our YouTube channel. It's the B17.
Lovely to see you.
Kaiser, you got someone cheering for you, man. Don't worry about it, you're not alone.
Yep. It's I know those two, they hang out in real life. They don't just sort of talk to each other over the PlayStation. They were at the MotoGP a few weeks ago, so lovely to see them still cheering on. Are you a MotoGP fan? Do you like your motorbikes at all?
No, not a lot. I do have friends that like them, and they show off. I was saying, yeah, why not?
Not enough wheels for me. Too few.
No. I'm more of a race car fanboy.
Yeah.
Same. I just saw the new movie as well.
Have you seen which one? Have you seen Gran Turismo? The driver.
Yes,
How is it? Because it looks. I
don't say.
Yeah.
It actually is pretty accurate.
Okay.
On the real story base. Of course, you see some new technology in there.
Mm-hmm.
And if people saw it, I'm sorry, I'm saying this. But you see like the new Fanatec wheels and all that. Or like,
yeah.
Oh, that's not fair. It's a good movie. It's can't say bad things about it really.
Yeah, good. No,
I was casting there. I like the Nissan casting in there.
Yeah. Just to plug an entirely different game, but if you do own Gran Turismo 7 and go into the game at the moment, you can get the car that he drives in the game for free, which is quite fun to drive and gives it a bit of the authenticity. And yeah, you can't spoil that movie. If you've watched the trailer, you've watched the film, you know how it's going to end. Like, it is a bit of a...
Oh, yes. Yeah, but I didn't watch the trailer yet. I never watched the trailer.
Okay.
That is a big spoiler for me.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
It just shows you the best bits in the film. And that's it. It literally does. And actually quite annoying for it.
Yeah. It's fine. Well, thankfully, the safety car is coming in this lap, so we will have to pause Rob and Matt's film review so we can go back to the racing itself. Nobody has taken the opportunity to go pit it, to go into the pits, so we're all on the same strategy as we were all before, and it's going to be Kid Dynamite who's going to lead us out. I'm going to go on board with Reese just to see when Kid is going to go. I think it pays you to sort of go fairly late round here. You don't want to go too early, or somebody could get a bit of a run on you.
Well, I think if you have to go now.
Let's see if it's right. Yeah, I would have gone a little bit later, but it doesn't seem to have cost him much at all. Reese closing that gap slightly down to 0.3 seconds
He's
now.
coming to go.
He's
going to stick it. Is he committed to that corner? He's not fully, but Ugoni keeps it.
That was excellent racing from the two, but I don't think Jay Sarge is going to give up on this.
Here, though. He is taking it in. There he is. That is Jay Sarge moving up.
That's excellent. You saw the difference in traction there, how he just sort of flew up the inside. It looked so easy. Of course, the difference between the softs and the hards, big difference in this game, and you really saw it there.
Very big difference.
Calvin and G-Star going side by side at the moment. I think Calvin is the one trying to get the move. G-Star defending for his life, using as much of the track as he can.
Barely pushing him up there.
He is.
Look at that. Calvin fan club, they're watching you, Calvin.
Oh, single tracks retired.
That's another safety car. I'm going back to my film review.
So, 3 out of 5 stars. No. That is such a shame for Martin. He had a rough race at the back, and I don't know what happened. He seemed to lose at a slightly odd place. Maybe he will tell us in the YouTube chat, as he told us what happened before. He says, "Oh dear, sorry," in the YouTube chat. A little bit ruder than that, but I'll leave it up to your imagination what he says. But at least that means we've got another viewer in our stream. Nick BT.
There we are.
Oh,
he's
no,
making some places.
Yes. Okay, sorry, I thought I saw somebody fake to go in the pit. We have got a car in the pit. That's Bit at the back. So let's just go. I don't know if he had any wing damage on that Aston Martin, or if he's just decided to get fresh pair of boots.
Let's have a look. He does not. He's just changing his tyres to the hards.
Hards from here. Do you reckon you can make it to the end and not have another pit stop? Or?
It's a stretch, especially if you think there's going to be many safety cars. That is the thing. But
yeah.
You can try if you want. Just saying. You never know if you try.
It's very true.
That's the thing about racing. It's always lovely if you don't try things.
I think, particularly in this game, particularly when we have so many safety cars early on, or safety cars that can disrupt a race, you have to know how to think on the fly, don't you? Because going into the pits at the right time or not can be the difference between success or failure. I remember in MRCX this year, we had Chris Bailey, who was leading, and he'd led the race for a long time, and he stayed out on 17 lap old hards, and everybody behind him, about the 5 cars behind him, all pitted onto softs. and he was a sitting duck, and it was that one decision that cost him so many places.
Yeah, that is always the thing here when you are driving. You never know when to pit when the safety car comes out. But that just dramatically change your strategy every time.
Yeah, because if there is no more safety car and Bit can keep up with the pack, excellent move, fantastic. But if there is another one, then I think he might be. The other one, he finds himself mid-pack, then he's going to be struggling on very old hards while people behind him and in front of him be on much real time.
Yeah, that is true. I think a lot of people MRCX or MRC, can say they have made a one call for pitting or not.
Yeah.
I can say it. I think you can say it as well. And we made a wrong choice of pitting at some point.
Oh, totally. Yeah,
we were sitting ducks like, what have I done?
I find it all balances out given time. If you race enough, you'll make one amazing call and one horrible one, and it all balances out.
What do you guys make of Sector 3 without the chicane? I think if you want to have a long story or a short story, I think I'm glad they did it, Mr. David. But it's also a very, very thing if you have to drive that bit for a very long time with that chicane on, suddenly it's gone.
Yes.
That is a thing. That's a short story. The long story, you have to hear another bit.
For me, it changes the nature of this track slightly. I think it was one where it was super difficult to pass, and you only had one opportunity, and it was down into turn 1, and even that felt like a challenge. This year, in particular, in real racing, and I'm not quite sure that the cars this year as well in the game are quite powerful when you've got a mixture of DRS and ERS. It might make it a little bit too easy to pass into turn 1, and so you always get the faster guys passing the slower ones. I mean, after a race like Monaco, maybe people are relieved that there's somewhere to easily pass someone else because you've had all that patience that you had to have last week.
I was fishing last week, so I don't know.
I think you took a good week to go fishing, mate.
I took a good week. I had that months before planning.
Yeah. Oh, safety car in this lap, so that saves us from fishing chat as well.
Yes. Always saves you the good time, doesn't it?
It does. Just before we're about to talk about the size of Matt's catch that he's got, we're going to go on to the racing. Kid Dynamite once again leading us out. I wonder if he will go as early as he did last time, or if he will save it. Yeah. Board with Reese. Oh, I think he's gone. I think he went a little bit earlier.
Yeah, he caught me snapping a little bit.
Yeah, Reese isn't getting the same drive that he did the first time, so that time is coming down, but not as much as we'd like. Let's see where we've got the battles. Is anybody going to try a big move into turn 1?
Got a really big gap here. Going and not a big one. Well, for me, it is a big one. The turn 1 guys here.
Yeah.
That's fine. And you don't have a big one, so they caught sleeping as well.
Yeah, I think Jody is really suffering, isn't he? On those hard tyres, it's difficult to get them up to temperature like everybody else. Kaiser Soze and Mark wheel to wheel round turn 5 there, but is that alright? I think Kaiser Soze has made up the place. He's up into P11. Mark down into He's got a very big twitch there, and he goes gardening, and he goes running, he goes through the Rolex signs. He doesn't like capitalism or expensive watches, and it's down into P13.
There's going to be change for the lead. Reese and Kid are side by side, and Reese takes it.
He has. And
very good move in that point for me.
Gosh, and it was
5 seconds. Safety car.
Yeah, it was an even better move.
Out. The Slayer is gone as well.
Yeah, seems to be absolute carnage at the back. Let's see if Bit has got any damage. He got a 5-second penalty. I can't see any on his car.
Like he's got damage,
no. So.
People are pitting. Jason. That's right. Jason. Nick Kaiser. And that's funny.
And what is the link between all those drivers is I think that they are all on the soft tyre. J Sarge goes on to hards. Let's see what everybody else does. Have we got a good...
J Sarge on hards as well. Everyone is on hards.
Yep.
There we
So
are.
there you go, sorted. If you were on softs, the strategy there was to go onto hards and say, fingers crossed, there isn't another safety car. We've had 3 already really early on, and personally, I think this game limits the amount of safety cars you have. After about 3 or 4 in a game, even if there's a massive crash where 2 or 3 people go out, it won't throw you another one. So I think that's a wise move from those soft runners.
True. But now it's a question. When will the top guys actually do something? Now they saw their competitors bidding. Ugoni is on 7 laps all hards. Mediums, maybe somewhere about, I'll say maybe around, let's say, 15?
Mediums
15,
get you
16 at some point.
15, 16 is okay. When I was doing, I did a practice race in the dry before this. I got them to, the recommended strategy says you can get them to lap 19 or maybe even 21 and then go on to softs. So I think that's what a couple of our medium runners will try to do, and they will take advantage of how, if those hard tyre runners have got to stay on those hards all the way to the end, the delta is going to be so much different between a fresh pair of softs and 20 lap old hards towards the end. So I reckon they're going to try and extend those mediums as long as possible. The ones I feel a bit sorry for are drivers like Ijoni, like Era Voice, who are stuck on the hards. It's a bit of a nothing strategy now. You're basically doing the same as the medium runners, but because you've had so many laps under the safety car, you don't really get the benefit of them. That they're going to come into their own, say about like lap 15 when those mediums might go off, because I think these safety cars all extended the mediums life as well.
Yeah, true, but that is a risk of taking your strategy with the hards. Especially if you do Grand Prix, you're never going to get a safety car that quick.
Yeah.
That's the thing. If you do it here, there's a chance you will get pole in like 10 laps, or you will get none the whole race.
Very true.
That is always a thing.
We've missed the crashes. The crashes do seem to be more self-inflicted than others crashing into people. So fingers crossed that we don't get any more, as we've got the final car. That is Carl, who is bringing up the rear of the field on 3 lap old hards. Yeah, he seems to have
put on his whole hards again. It's only 3 laps, so actually not a bad call.
No,
I don't think he didn't want to get rid of him.
No, I think he went hards, medium, and then back onto the hard. So he's just trying to get
he forced to get back on medium. So I think, we could again get more hard. Why not?
David, the YouTube chat saying that. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, no, that's fine. David in the YouTube chat saying he did 19 laps on hards on Sunday and they felt fine. I think, yeah, that's pretty much how far they will go. They have a little bit longer to go, and yeah, just saying that he found coming off the throttle just before the last corner and taking it flat gains so much time. I think that's right, particularly through that last right hander. It's not flat, and you risk invalidating your lap on the left curve, or even worse, going into the gravel if you try and push it, particularly on heavy fuel loads or on warm tyres. So lifting, and I felt going down a gear. If I'm going in P7, I'll go in gear 7, I'll go down to gear 6, just to give me a little bit more stability. But it's now Reese's turn to go racing. Is he going to go as early as Kid Dynamite did? He's going to leave it a bit later. I think he's really slowing the field down. He's not going to go yet.
Waiting. And he's gone. Beautiful kidnapping a little bit.
He did. He sort of heard the wheel spin, and I wonder if that's worked in Bailey's favour, because look at the Mercedes now.
Really big in Bailey's favour. He's nearly side by side with him.
He's going to be side by side and say, oh, falls. Ow.
He's not committed to that pull. But then they look like people. He's not too comfortable with it, though.
Yeah, no, that was fair. I think he knew that he was risking too much and put too much on the line, so he backed out of that. Big thing Chris knows is he's got Ijoni behind him on those hards, so he'll want to just pull away and hope that Ijoni is a bit of a cork in the bottle for the races behind. J Sarge on the hards going past Eddie Dust. He's going for another big move on Mark. We're talking about sending it.
Eddie Dust is trying to fight back as well. And behind him there's a battle as well. Hashman Ghost Rider. Hashman is paused. Ghost Rider loses 2 positions.
They are.
Like 2 corners. Oh, shame. Hashman on his teammate now. Having a battle. Ooh, that's very dangerous corner that battle. Well, nice driving there, no touching, no nothing. Still side by side though. Still side by side.
Oh wow, yeah, you're right.
It's amazing to watch this. it's put Nick BT on there as well. He wants to get past. Oh, that was very good racing from Cole. I caught it as well.
As Bobby's already just really wide.
Now, Nick BT, G-Star, Ghost Rider would probably want it as well. Is he on time for that?
He's going to get past. Let's see what happens down into the first corner. Very neatly done, and Eddie just knows he has to pull out. That was the problem. I said those last two corners are so important. Eddie just got it a little bit wrong. He was side by side with LRL, and then P8 just all the way down to P13 now. That was from one mistake.
Yeah, that is shamefully in the last corners. That is nothing. If you don't pay attention to those two, you are, so we say, a little bit in trouble.
Yeah.
As we should.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
What will happen to the rest? See some good scrap battles coming up with Ugoni, Xavier, Calvin, all closing in on Bailey.
Yeah.
Dynamite right there as well, trying to catch up with Prix. PT trying to catch up with Ashford and Mark. And for the rest, that is a little battle for P13 coming up as well.
We have some really good battles up and down the field. I'm just going to stick on board with you, Joni. DRS is enabled. It's not going to be available to him now. I said Joni might be the cork in the bottle, but it looks here. Him and Chris Bailey going side by side into turn one. He's got the inside, Chris got the outside.
Yeah, he was committed to that corner full. He was taking it and not giving it back. Yeah,
that was an excellent move from the Ferrari man there. Up into P3. Bailey knew that he was done there, so pulled out and is down into P4. Calvin as well. Where's the Calvin fan club in the YouTube chats?
We tried to get the switch back there. He's side by side in the corner.
He's not taking no for an answer, is he?
No, he's not taking it. He is giving the battle to Xavier. I've got to say, it's a fun battle to watch. It's not over yet. Xavier went a little bit wide. And Calvin says, thank you very much for that. I'm taking that.
He's going to have DRS as well.
Question is, will Xavier give up?
Probably
knowing his nature, he will not. And Jay starts driving as well.
Yeah, he won't, but Calvin was looking so racy there, wasn't he? He seemed to have so much pace, and who else has got it?
He was not giving up. He wants that P5 spot.
Jay Sarge as well.
The next target will be Chris Bailey. I wonder.
We'll move for the lead here up front. Kid Dynamite goes past Reese. Of course, who will have no DRS. I think we're going to see these two do a lot of swaps for the lead. If that's the case, it's all about making sure that you stay in DRS range, otherwise you'll be a sitting duck down that straight. Nick BT up as well. Mark making it the top 10. Kaiser Soze and Ghost Rider going side by side through those corners. I think
Ghost Rider at the moment, every voice is now catched up, and he's very much through as well in that corner. So I don't know if maybe Ghost Rider's problem, or he didn't take the corner wide as he wanted to. Gotcha. Now Carl is behind and wants to take his spot.
Yep. G-Star up into P10 as well. Tell you what, these hard runners, these hards seem to be coming into their... I thought that Joni and J Sarge and others might struggle and the mediums might be up the road, but you look at the gaps. J Sarge looks incredibly racy behind Xavier now.
Ooh, and Xavier had a little twitchy moment there for J Sarge trying to catch up. Trying to do switchback here. Ooh, that's very dangerous.
Not going to quite have it, but Xavier, look at that gap now between him and Calvin outside of the DRS range. That means he's going to be a sitting duck here. See if the flap opens.
Like and looks like J Sarge is going to get past and is free.
That gets it done so easily there, up into P6. Excellent racing, just put the pressure on, and it was, too easy for him down that straight.
LOL, I think the Hamburg fan against Nick BT. I don't know if that is the thing he wants, but I'm shouting it out for you. Don't know if that's right, but he is trying to defend, and Nick BT is pushing. I say Nick BT is having a good race. He's in the points.
Yeah, he had a disappointing quali, didn't he? Started all the way down in P15, if I remember right. But
he did, and got to say, a lot of people will tell you.
He's gone very wide there. He's lost the place to G-Star. He went all the way in the gravel, but luckily kept it facing in the right direction.
That is a good thing.
I'm going to go back up to the top now because Reese is 0.2 behind Kid Dynamite. I said it was going to be likely that these two are just going to be swapping positions all race long. See if he goes again. Yep, and he gets it done. He's going to get it done so early as well, way before the apex of that corner. That's how you want to get it done. And it's a new race lead.
It's a little bit like the season shot where Verstappen when they're taking over every time. Then you.
I think unless you want to spend all of your ERS to defend, you can't do it. And Joni is making Kid Dynamite
some
think.
action.
Oh,
Chris Bailey wants to have some action as well.
He's going to go round the outside.
Jason has gone past Calvin. It's not too far. He's hard. His hards are on.
They are. Yeah, I think David in the YouTube chat earlier asked if J Sarge wants to take them to the end. I think he will. So I think if he wins this race with these pair of hards, he'll take them home and into bed with him. But is
Calvin
going to look at the move?
Question is, will he keep J Sarge late? There's a little bit of touchy-watchy there, but nothing serious. J Sarge, good defending for me.
The big problem is this moment you go defensive, it opens up the gap up top. J Sarge is just in DRS range. All we've got a lot is he's in the pits.
Ooh, does he have damage?
We'll stick on board with J Sarge because it is worth finding out. I think we've got excuse me, Saviour up past Calvin as well, who maybe suffered a little bit. No,
yeah, he is. I think he touched Chris Bailey. I think that was the thing. I don't know, maybe somewhere. He definitely did not hit a wall. You saw a yellow flag at some point.
Yeah. Everybody take note.
With another driver.
Yeah. Do not touch Chris Bailey, or he will damage your car. We've got lots of close battles here. The field isn't really stretching out, is it? We haven't got many gaps of over a second, and that means that we've got a lot of wheel-to-wheel racing.
You can't say there's another gap for 5 seconds. They're all really close by. And for me, this is me. You'll never see this.
G-Star on LRL. Is he going to go round the outside into that new revamped hairpin? So sweeping. You can get that move done, and yes, he does. Makes it stick. Excellent there. But if you do the pass there, you've got to make sure that you're in DRS range for turn 1, turn 2. And I think he's going to do it up into, just 0.8. That would steady the gap. Reese Whitcomb up top there, that gap between him and Kid Dynamite up to 0.6 seconds. You can see how much it comes down, how much that DRS helps out. It was about 0.8, is down to 0.4 by the time they reach the apex. And let's see where our other big drives are. Saviour, I think, is the one to watch at the moment. He's just falling out of DRS range, and Calvin, we've seen how quick he is tonight on those mediums. 16 lap old, and it's still looking incredibly fast.
He's very racy with it. Like, if he gets in your DRS range and he's very close by, he smells it, he wants it. He wants that big drive.
Is he going to use it now? Is he going to save a little bit? We've got Dave in the YouTube chat there making a very good point as well. ERS round here, once you've spent it, it is hard to get back, isn't it? I mean, it was okay in the wet race. Your ERS tend to charge a little faster, but I found in my career race I was barely using it, and I was still found I was like 20-30% by about lap 11. It never seemed to come back. Kid Dynamite, the first of our leaders, into the pit, so he's getting off those medium tyres. I imagine that he will try and put on maybe a pair of hards. I wonder if he's going to try and stretch a pair of softs from here. Hards. Thank you very much. So let's see if the undercut works round here. And let's see what
Reese will pit.
Let's see if Reese will do anything. See if Joni will do anything. J Sarge putting in a new fastest lap of the race on fresh mediums. I think Kid coming out when he did at least was able to make sure that J Sarge didn't get any undercut as well, because he's looking incredibly quick. And remember, J Sarge might have undercut Kid if it wasn't for that front wing change, because that would have cost him about 5 seconds, and he is only
It would.
3
I
seconds.
think you have a point there. I think he would have undercut it very hard. I expected it. He would have at least be like 1.4 ahead at that point. But he is catching up very quick to Kid Dynamite because of his fresh sheet. Kid Dynamite's already passed Ghost Rider. Nothing said. Didn't say anything. Which one of them?
Maybe Ghost Rider's doing a bit of a cork in the bottle there. I'm going to stick on board with Chris Bailey because he's behind Joni in the hards. Reece Wickham deciding to stay out as a yellow.
And that's an Aston Martin wide, and that is Mark who spun and he just keeps spinning. Don't go into the wall, mate. Don't. Oh, he lost his front wing now.
Oh no.
That is a shame. No virtual, no nothing. No, that's good. We keep on racing.
It's a shame. Chris Bailey up into P2 now, got the move done into turn 1. I thought he was a long way behind Joni, but somewhere he's got it. J Sarge pumping it another purple lap, another fastest lap. He is on a charge now. Down in P13, but he certainly has the pace tonight. How many more laps are Reece, Chris and Joni going to go? These top 5 now, all yet to pit, and everybody from G-Star down has at least had one pit stop. G-Star in the net lead of the race now, because all of those from P5 who pit will have to fight their way back through some traffic. That's alright. Better out than in, eh? It's fine.
Sorry about that. And Reece is in the pits, the number 1 driver. Ooh, we nearly clipped the wall there.
Bailey's in the pits as well.
Is Ugoni? No, Ugoni is still keep going with his heart. Saviour. Ooh, he's catching up. No, Ugoni's keep driving around. Adding nothing. Calvin in the pits as well, so all the Calvin fans. He was up in P6, now he's back down here. Ooh, softs. Chris Bailey and Calvin. Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, as I said,
13 laps.
You can take the softs 13 laps around here.
You can. Once you touch a little bit of grass or a little bit of gravel, they're going to be slightly underperformance.
They are, and look to see how it's Kid Dynamite. It's all over the back of Reece Wickham. He didn't quite get the other. Is he going to get the move as they go side by side? There's a bit of wheel banging there, but it is Kid who finds his way through. Those tyres just warmer. Reece is on absolutely fresh hard, so he'll be ice cold at the moment, and he's finding himself a bit of a sitting duck.
Mark, yes it is. He's just on pass.
Yeah, he's had a bit of a torrid time. I wonder if the ankle is starting to hurt a little bit now. It's a long race.
I think it does. It looks like it at least. Not saying you're bad, I'm just saying that maybe your ankle doesn't.
Joni into the pits. P3.
Where will he come out? LOL, Hasfan in the pits.
I'm going to stick on board with Kid. Era is in the pits, so it's Kid in P7. See where he comes out as well. Oh, he's a big battle behind him, though. Look at Reece Wickham getting absolutely swamped. He's got 3 cars behind him. What on earth is going to happen down into Tier 1? We've got cars coming out the pit lane as well. Chris Bailey on the inside. Is he going to make the move stick? Where's everybody going to end up? It is Kid Dynamite, followed by Reece Wickham, J Sarge and Chris Bailey going side by side. Chris Bailey on those fresher, softer tyres, and he's going to make the move stick up into P7 for the moment, but J Sarge is coming back. I thought he was going to battle all the way round turn 5 there, and they're still going for it. They are still wheel by wheel. J Sarge will not let them go, and they've got the hard-tyred Reece Wickham in front of them. 3 different tyre compounds, all nose to tail, gearbox to gearbox. You cannot take your eyes off this battle.
That's what I talked about earlier. Commitment, try to fight and get through it. J-Sod had the commitment, but Chris Bailey had just more fight in him with a fresher and better tyre.
Yeah, and I wondered if he was going to go for the move down to the hairpin. He doesn't. Reece is now 1.4 seconds behind Kid. That undercut really does look powerful around here. These drivers
can change massively. Saviour now suddenly P2, nearly 2 seconds behind.
Yeah, I don't know if he's had a moment on those mediums. He was in the lead, wasn't he? But Chris Bailey gets the move done on Reece Wickham up into P6. Got the net lead, remember, G-Star, Nick BT and Kaiser Soze up, all pitted, so he still needs to get past them. Let's just get the pit stops up on the stops. There it is. So yeah, Saviour is the only one not to pit of those top. Of any driver now, I think, as Ghost Rider goes in the pit and gets his done. So Saviour will have to pit at some point, but it's Kid who's benefiting here. But it's Chris Bailey on those softs rather than opting for the hards. It looks so much quicker for the time being, but how long is it going to be until those softs really start to fall off and the hards go into their own?
And Saviour is now in the pits, the P2 man. With his 21 laps old mediums, I applaud you. Nicky T in the pits. Why, I do not know. Bit of a gamble here for him.
Yeah, well, I wonder if he's going on the softs, because these hard tyre runners, when they meet somebody like a Chris Bailey on a fresh pair of softs, they're getting eaten up. And it's Chris Bailey who he's up into the lead, he's past Kid Dynamite. And that is P3 on the road now. Now he's going to put the foot down and really try and make these soft rubber tyres count.
Oh yeah, but Chris Bailey's wrist is flashing, saying hi.
It's Calvin.
Kid Dynamite thinking about it. I'm just going to take it back. I don't know. Ooh, a little bit of a snap out that corner for him. Stays alive and everything's right.
I'm going to stick on board with Calvin as well. Calvin on 3-lap old softs against Reese on 3-lap old hards. The big loser, I think, out of this whole pit stop situation is Reese, forced to go on to hards. And they just look like the wrong tyre at the moment when you've got these soft guys behind. I thought Calvin was going to get the move done already. Are they going to go side by side? No, he thinks against it. Again, look at the time Reese is losing. Still 1.8 seconds behind.
Dynamite fighting with Cages Soldier. Oh my god. That was a monstrous move to get past him, even though he went in the pits. But that was a monstrous move. And Ugoni now says thank you for fighting. I will take P3.
Yeah, that was the
Ferrari podium at the moment.
The problem Kid had there was that he lost DRS in that battle, meaning that he was a complete sitting duck down that straight. So Ugoni on the mediums up into P3, Chris Bailey in 2, but he's within a second of him. G-Star is the one man on those hards who's decided to stay out. I think the strategy of taking those hards to the end has absolutely flown out the window. Now people can see just how quick these soft and medium runners are.
He just has to nail every lap to stay in that point. To get that race ready for the Ferraris.
Yeah, and it will.
Or Chris Bailey just says, no, I'm coming for that Mercedes. I want Mercedes P1 again.
Yeah, I'm going to just stay on board. I know we've got a big fight between you, Johnny, but they're not going to get it done yet. I'm going to see what the lap time is from G-Star up in front. So on those 16 lap old hards, he's doing a 1:16.9. Chris Bailey on a 4-lap old pair of softs is going to go across the line with a 1:15.3, so he is gaining nearly 1.5 seconds a lap. We've got 8 laps left. This might come down to the wire as Joni goes into the lead. Excellent overtake from him.
Oh, that was a good move. I got to say, Ferrari are making dreams come true. 1-2, I haven't seen that in a long time.
It's it's time for you to make a very bad strategy call, Ferrari. Come on, plan E, where you come in and put the inters on, something like that, because that's what we're used to.
Something like that. If that was literally a thing here,
yeah,
they would probably make that call at some point. Pit now.
Yeah. Now, I was having a go at you, Joni, earlier. I was thinking the hards weren't the right choice because he was sort of stuffed for what tyre to pick at the end. Picking the mediums here might not be a bad move because those mediums are going to last a lot longer than those softs. And Chris Bailey isn't exactly all over the gearbox, is he? He's falling away slightly, and I think if he can't stay within 1 second, he's going to have some trouble here.
Yeah, you know what I think? I think someone in YouTube chat said, I think it was Sneaky Turtle. Mm-hmm. The tyre choices for people going on the softs that early. I think he thinks the same thing. They're not going to last till the end. Mm. If I see now that Chris Bailey is just nearly backing off again, but he's gaining and gaining just because of the DRS, in my opinion. I think if he's falling off, That's going to be big trouble for the people that actually got on the softs. Okay, so is it though? Put on actually on the right time for me to put on the softs.
Yeah.
It's only 1 lap hold. Oh, Eddie is out. Ooh.
And he's out. That's a safety car. Safety car.
That's
Safety
a very
car.
good thing for Carl. He just pitted as well. He is now on freshy booties on the reds. Oh, Ghost Rider is pitting as well. Ooh. Are you going to put on the fresh new softs there, Mr. Ghost?
Probably will do, yeah. G-Star has to come in and pit now, right? He can't stay in the lead.
If you're staying out now, that he's going to be a sitting block, that's for sure. Now everyone will be close by.
Usually,
wants to have that track position, and it's only 6 laps remaining. That's the thing. What do you do?
I think you have to pit. It's people it's people like Kidd and Reese, I wonder, who are on the hards, if they go in or if they go for a pair of softs. I'm really interested to see where G-Star's going to come out. Usually about 20 seconds for a pit. He will have a slight advantage pitting under the safety car, but it does look as if, through goes Joni, through goes Chris Bailey, who's decided to
a lot of people
stay out.
Kidd, Reese, G-Star, Xavier, all are pitting. Don't get why Xavier's pitting. There's only 4 lap old. Probably putting some fresh booties on. Kidd put on the mediums.
Okay.
Right, not a choice I would have gone with, but if you feel quicker with him, why not?
Yeah, I can't remember. Don't think he's used softs. He hasn't used softs at all this race, has he? He's gone medium, hard, medium. So I don't know if that's a brain fart from him or just something's gone a bit wrong. But at the moment, you've got Joni on 6-lap-old mediums. Bailey and Calvin have stayed out on 7-lap-old softs. G-Star is the one to watch. He's got a completely new, fresh pair of booties. Nick stayed out 4-lap-old mediums. Kidd is on fresh mediums, and then everybody behind him, apart from Kaiser Soze, they've got fresh softs on as well.
This would be a big shootout.
Is
very exciting one by the looks of it.
Is, yeah, and it's not the last one we've seen today. We had one in Tier 2 that was under slightly damper conditions. We had 2 safety cars towards the end, so fingers crossed they'll all keep it clean into Turn 1, and we will take that to conclusion.
Yeah, the safety car will be at least maybe 1 lap or 2. It's going to be a big shootout, especially for G-Star, who's on a freshly booties.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to Calvin. The Calvin fan club should be happy. He is now in P3. Baldy B17 is happy as well. He's saying hammer time now, Kaiser Soze. It's going to be very hard for him now. He's got a lot of people with freshly softs around him. Well, never benefit the doubt. Everything can happen in this lovely race, as I saw.
Certainly is. We'll probably have 1 more lap of safety car, then we've got 5 laps of racing left to go.
Yes, I think so as well. Elvis and the ghosty boy are catching up.
So if you are watching on the YouTube stream at the moment, if you enjoyed the racing so far, give us a like. Let's feed the algorithm a little bit more. I know you've got this stream open on 20 tabs on your laptop like I have to make sure we've got as many viewers as possible. And the interesting thing I found out is that you can also like on each fresh tab and it gives you more impressions. So if you can do that as well, it's excellent. You'll just break the YouTube algorithm a little bit more.
Or if you ever feel bored and you think, why not share it on my Instagram or Facebook? Where we are racing.
Yeah.
You never know. I'm not saying you have to. Just saying it would be fun.
Share it on
Maybe
Twitter.
Your friends can see you racing.
Yeah.
See, that's the side I'm going to do it as well. You never know.
Share it on Twitter, or X as it's called. Why don't you share this YouTube video on X videos? I think that's what Twitter are calling their new service.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's right.
Away and put an X in there.
Yeah. So, share it wherever you feel this is, because, hey, maybe you should share it on X videos, because some of this race has been pure filth tonight, and it certainly got me excited as we are about to go racing once more. The safety car is going to come in this lap. Joni's going to be leading us, and it is Bailey once again making the decision. I said how in MRCX a couple of weeks back he didn't pit for a fresh pair of tyres. At that occasion, he had about 6 drivers immediately behind him, all who had done the same thing. Slightly different this time. He's going to have, he's going to have a sandwich of drivers here who are on the used sets of rubber. I wonder if he's going to be able to hold out for the next 5 laps of this race, or if we are going to see the likes of G-Star and Kid Dynamite swallow them up whole. Johnny is gone, and we're about to go racing once again here in Spain. See what happens, see if anybody's making a big move. Nick BT just 0.2 to G-Star.
G-Star goal defensive there. Nick BT, yeah, that was a good defensive. Question is, will he keep it though? Kid Dynamite and Reese are on their tail as well. He's fading the other Calvin, staying all the same, going, he's still, should I say safe? A little bit, but not much.
Oh,
Kid Dynamite.
What a move up into P5 already. We questioned the choice of fresh mediums, but don't be slowing down any way, shape or form here, as he's got 5 laps to push the pedal to the metal right to the end. This big train that's forming as well. G-Star on the much fresher rubber.
Here he comes, G-Sarge with a 3-second time penalty. Ooh, G-Star is trying to find a way through. Side by side in the corner, I hate to do it.
He's got the inside line though.
Still there. Kid Dynamite wants to have a little sniff about it. G-Star through. Kid Dynamite, no, you would not be happy about that. I think he will take him here. 8 laps off to the 9, the 10s. They are not doing it.
And side by side, he hasn't quite got the speed as he. Where's that come from? As he suddenly engaged the thrusters.
That you went flying that top there. Wow.
Did
you put a rocket ship in there.
Yeah, no, it was like a drag race, and then all of a sudden, the kid just found that extra burst of speed, and he is up into P4. Calvin is the big loser at the moment because he stayed out on those 10-lap-old hards, and he has been swallowed up by the rest of the field.
He's turning out to be the big loser. He's losing to you going. He's not going to get the DRS he wants. And looks like G-Star is closing in, and the same thing with Kid Dynamite. Oh, he is done. Maybe he's done it again.
Yeah, that's the one thing Chris needed, wasn't it? Was to stay in DRS range to maybe provide some sort of defence. But
yeah, but now you will not have a defence against DC with a fresh soft and a fresh medium coming his way.
Yeah. That safety car at the end, I think, might have saved G-Star. I think we were for a barn burner anyway, right up to the end. But now he can go on much fresher rubber. Just a gap of 0.
Though has a very better exit than G-Star.
Sit on board.
A little bit defensive, of course. Bailey going defensive as well.
Oh, G-Star though, he's going to go around the outside. Look at that for a move. And look at the extra traction.
Ooh, that's very good move, but if Chris Bailey's keeping that position, he will not. He's out of the podium positions. Kid Dynamite though, he is looking racy. Oh my lord.
He's going for the move already on G-Star.
That's naughty. that is naughty, man. You're a naughty man. Oh, you made me sweat, mate.
Fantastic move though. I just didn't think he was going to do it now, and now he's got 2 seconds. He's got 2 laps to try and make it up to the Ferrari up top with Joni. Joni would have hoped that his mate would have helped him out, his teammate. Now he's just keeping an eye on that gap. It was 2 seconds, already down to 0.6. Kid is on a charge.
Oh, he is fighting for that. He wants that victory.
Yeah.
He's literally a Max Verstappen boy.
Go for bad worse for Calvin as well. Saviour is past. Is J-Sarge going to get past as well? Oh, sorry, Calvin is there. It's Saviour, J-Sarge and LRL.
And here comes Reese with Chris Bailey, and Chris Bailey is going defensive, but Reese Whitcomb, he is staying and he takes it. I think Chris Bailey and Calvin, I'm sorry to say it, but that is not a good choice or tyre choice.
No, and the other thing you can see on Bailey's car is that the ERS light is flashing. He is out. That's all of his defence. It's drained. He's just hoping that Calvin, who is behind him, and there's a big gap of over a second, he wants Calvin to be a cork in the bottle because, 5th might be the best that he can hope for today. That gap
Kid
up top.
Dynamite.
Oof. Under a second
catching.
now.
He is catching. He is flying.
Big
It really does do as an advert said, Red Bull gives you wings.
Does. Big problem he's going to have is now the laps are running out. This is the last lap. Do you have to go for the overtake into turn 1 here? The gap is already down to 0.4. I think that's what it's aiming for. Joni will have to put up a massive defence and hope he has a boatload of ERS. That light is flashing on the back of the Red Bull. It is not for Joni. Can Kid get this move done? It is flashing on the Ferrari as well. That gap 0.3 down to 0.2. Don't think he's got it. No, he can't get it done there. But the rest of this lap is going to be nose to tail. This Kid just attack.
We saw Kid tonight having some overtakes where you would say, ooh, that is naughty. And I think he will do something where he is literally just pushing the Ferrari.
He is always going very wide. There was that contact. He's lost a...
I think he lost the wing. I saw some carbon fibre flying.
Yeah, no, he's lost an end plate.
That was...
Front
left.
left.
What you want.
No,
that came out good for you, Goni, but not good for the man that was trying to take it.
He hasn't, and yeah, he's just losing time now where he would have been all over the back. It's up to a second, he's got DRS, but I don't think he's going to get it done. That contact right at the end might have put a halt on Kid's charge. So it is Joni who's going to lead us right to the end of this race. Chris Bailey and Rhys Whitcomb very, very close, and I don't think we're going to see any more moves. So let's stick on board with the Ferrari man. He started on hards, moved to the mediums, started to stay out under the safety car, and it's going to be across the line. It's going to be a race win for you, Joni, behind Kid Dynamite in P2, G-Star P3, Rhys in P4, Bailey 5th, J Sarge with a time penalty will find himself suffering a little bit, so you've got Calvin 6th, LRL 7th, J Sarge 8th, Hero Voice 9th, Kaiser Soze 10th, Bit 11th, Ghost Rider 12th, Saviour 13th, and Nick BT, I don't know if he'd had a slight incident or something happened towards the end of that race, but he's going to come home. Oh, Tokyo Drift style. Where's he gone? Is that out, or is it just a spin?
He's still driving, he's still driving. He's not letting his fans say, no, I'm not going out like that.
Decided that he was going to yeet himself out of that race. But fingers crossed. Thank you ever so much. YouTube chat, thank you Sneaky Turtle. It's a pleasure. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Thank you David, thank you Carl, thank you for all the fan clubs that were watching. I'm going to take the podium. Let's see who the game gives driver of the day to.
That is a very good question.
Give it to Error Voice. I must admit, I can't remember seeing Error Voice at all for the entire race, so I don't know if I agree with him. Who would you give your driver of the day to?
To be honest, I would give mine to Kid Dynamite.
Yeah.
He had fighting spirit. If he did not have that damage, I think he would have taken the win. For sure. But at that point, I think he was too greedy, but as always, he was just having fighting, he was gritting his teeth, he had confidence, he had everything to see.
I think he did
daring in the corners, like, nope, that's mine, you cannot have it.
He did everything possible. I think Kid's a great shout. Also a big shout out to G-Star. Hang out there on hard tyres, and if he hadn't had the safety car at the end, maybe he would have been in the mix, but the decision to put on the fresh softs and still be so competitive towards the end. It was an excellent race from him as well. So let's take you through the final grid just before we go here. So as I said, it was Joni in the Ferrari, P1, Kid Dynamite, our pole sitter finishes P2. We've got G-Star in the Ferrari in third, Rhys in fourth, Bailey fifth, Calvin sixth, LRL 7th, J Sarge 8th, Era Voice 9th, Kaiser Soze 10th, Bit 10th, Ghost Rider 12th, Saviour 13th, and Nick BT 14th. And unfortunately, we did have 6 drivers who did not finish. That would be Eddie Dust, Mark, and the Slayer single track, and Call Me the Brave. Thank you ever so much for joining me tonight, Matty. It's been a pleasure.
Always. It was a fun thing to experience this again.
Yeah.
For a long time. It was very much exciting and much battling. I enjoyed it very much, thank you.
Good. Well, thank you for joining us, and please tune in next time for Tier 3 and Tier 4, where maybe you'll hear a little bit of film review, some bits on fishing, and some inappropriate mentions of X videos. It's been a pleasure having you. Right. Catch you all later, guys. See ya. Bye.